We all have lust, all of us. None of us are excluded from this inherited sinful nature. The nature that causes us to bend towards evil on a daily basis, minute by minute. Other people are able to restrain their evil via moral and integrity, but ultimately our sinful nature will win out in the end, because instinct cannot be held captive by moral or integrity. It's only a guide to deflect us away from the passions and desires that want us to do evil. And sure as the sun rises each day, is as sure as we will do evil. In one way or another, we may not work it outwardly, we may not express it, but in the unseen realm, in the realm of our mind, evil will be working. We usually don't hear it or sense it, we feel it. And this is the funny thing about evil: once it penetrates the mind and the thoughts and the emotions, once it pushes past our construct, our integral and moral construct, it appears to be good. It comes across with this feeling of being good, with this sense of this is right, this feels good, this is right, and feelings of lust and betrayal and things like that. Take over our senses, and our senses translate them into being good. We morph away from what we sense to be right and go with what's wrong, because our sinful nature's got a way of making our senses start to interpret that as being good. Many a wife has had resentment and bitterness and not been able to resolve it, only to find themselves in a situation where their carnal nature and sinful nature, along with demons and everything else, familiar spirits working against that person, has caused them to turn against themselves, turn against the family, their marriage, and their marriage and everything else that mattered, because their senses, their emotions, had interpreted the evil that's bringing these resentments and bitternesses and unresolved to be good. And then when the sinful nature pulls back and abandons the person in their actions, which were against their principles and morals and everything they stood for, and it abandons, as Satan will. This is part of the sinful nature, which is reflective of Satan, the father of lies. We then find ourselves in situations that are not where we would have liked to have been, liked to have ended up. And of course, this is where people find themselves in trouble. This is where people end up with shame and guilt, hurt and harm, and all the consequences that are associated with that. Many of these people will say, you'll hear them say, I don't know what made me do it. Well, I do. Many people will say, you never would have thought that that person was capable of doing that. But the Bible tells us we all sin and fall short of the glory of God. That's a freight train going past, viewers. Sorry. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. All of us, not some of us. And even though this dog knows it's wrong to go to this dead possum, look where his fascination is with. It's with the dead. There's a dead possum up there. He can't help himself. You can see the remains of it in the ground. It might even be a rat. I don't know. Come on, mate. But, like the sinner, that's somebody that's being run by this. Here, mate, quick. Someone being run by their sinful nature. He or she returns to the scene of the crime, which is, again, what the sinful nature causes us to do, against what our values are and against what we believe to be right. It's got a way of seeping its way into what we believe in and how we perceive life. It's contrary to doing good. It's contrary to what's right. Completely contrary. And so, people lie, cheat, steal, mislead, feign. People will feign things to get attention and manipulate and get control. They'll deceive, leading other people into trouble, and get out of it! Sorry guys, he's gone back to the... Here. Hank, come here mate. He's a... Hank, come on mate, leave people alone, idiot. There. They feign, which is they chameleonize themselves, they camouflage themselves, they go covert, they know things are wrong, they're not used to dealing with issues, so they'll continue on this fantasy of misleading. But it's a reality run by a fantasy that things can't be fixed, things can't be resolved. They're running on their feelings, they're running on their hype. But they're smart. This is a confusion. These people are smart, they're not stupid. But their decision making is stupid because it doesn't produce anything good or anything right. It just brings harm and mistrust, deceit and betrayal. And the only place that it can be fixed, and it all comes back to this, is the finished work of the Lord Jesus Christ, where this sinful nature was crucified and where He made a public spectacle of the principalities and powers that work against us at the cross. That's where He did it. At the cross. And of course, people are repulsed by the cross. They don't realize that it's a part of what we need, put there by the Creator to show us that God loved the world. He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever should believe in Him shall not perish but have everlasting life. For He did not send His Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through Him might be saved. This way, please. You need to stop it. This way, please. This way, please. Everything comes back to the cross of the Lord Jesus Christ.